everybody, it's me again. Aren't you so excited? I wanted to come back and talk about this product again because I was unfamiliar with what it was, how to put it together, and all of that the first time that I opened it to show you all what was in the box. So now I have fully read the instructions. I've looked at every photograph that is included to help you along the way, and I have a good understanding of how the product works. It's called kind of self-explanatory, but a few differences. And again, I've used the paintball setup before, and I had a regulator, a mini regulator that it had a solenoid on it, so it was plugged into the wall. So that one was a little bit easier to put together. Plus I already had a big system, so I was familiar with it. So first I want to remind everyone that yes, I do represent Dennerle and JBJ, but I'm also again a hobbyist, and so I'm going to be looking at this from both hobbyist point of view and be honest about my opinion, but also marketing, sales, because I know the prices of things and I know where they can be found. So if anyone has any questions about any of that, of course you can let me know in the comments and I will answer them. I did make a mistake the other day when I spoke about the Refillable, and I said that this was comparative to it. It is. Our cylinder is 80 grams and the Refillable cylinder is 88 grams. So I wanted to make that very clear that I made a mistake on that. I did compare the two products from what I saw online, and I'm not familiar with the Refillable. I've never used it before. But as far as what's in the box, you get a lot more with this package than what you do with the Refillable. With the Refillable, you basically get the holder, the tank, the mini regulator, which it does not have a solenoid on it, so it does not run power, and the ceramic disc diffuser and a bubble counter. Yeah, I think you get the bubble counter. But with ours, you get the CO2, the bell, I don't want CO2 indicator holder, you get the CO2 indicator solution, check valve that comes with this, and this mini flipper, nano flipper for your diffusion method. And that actually does come with two attachments for the top. So if you have a smaller tank that's, I think it is 30 liters or less, then you would want to use the smaller one. But anything bigger than that, up to, I think it's ranged to 40 gallons, actually. I shouldn't even look at that. And it is hiding from me. Anyway, we'll go past that. So there's two of them. And because this is a 10-gallon tank, 35 liters, I've got the bigger one on here. I'm not going to put it all together. It is really easy to follow the directions. I just put a little bit of it together so that you could see. It has this piece right here which slides over the rim of your tank to hold the hose in place, and you have lots of hose, so you can actually set this close by but not too far, close by but not too close if you want. The stand that it goes into does have a sticker adhesive on the bottom, so if you have a permanent place that you want to put this, then you're able to stick it there and not have to worry about it moving around on you. As I mentioned, this does not have a solenoid, so it's important to understand that this will not turn itself off. So if you are a beginner getting into using CO2, it's something you'll have to manually turn off at night. If you do not turn it off, then it will run 24 hours a day. And as we all know, in plants, they do not consume, they don't utilize the CO2 overnight. They don't need it. So it's kind of a waste of your CO2 to let it happen. So for me personally, this is not something that I'm going to be running all the time because I travel a lot. and it's just going to be an inconvenience for me to have to worry about whether or not anyone here has turned it off, if it ran out while I was away. You know, my kids have overfed my shrimp and fish before, so I'm not going to leave it to chance. I am going to test the product because I want to know how well it works. If there's any leaks, I'll be looking for things like this, and if I find anything that would positively or negatively impact anyone's use of it, then I would talk about it as well. So originally I was right. This is a pipette. This is to get the solution into the bell if you need to do so. And everything else is just, it's kind of there. I'm kind of curious to see how this mini flipper is going to work. I've seen them before, and I know in the stores in Germany, a lot of the tanks that are set up have these on there. But it's a new diffuser to me, so I get to play with that, and I'm kind of excited about that. So anyway, I hope I answered any of your questions that you might have been thinking of or may not even realized you had. I do want to also mention that out on the market, there are only 2 other companies that have nano pressurized CO2 sets. It's Fluval, of course, and ISTA. ISTA also has one, and I'm not familiar with theirs at all. So I'm not going to be able to compare ours to theirs. I'm only going to be able to give you information about how ours performs. This particular setup is the basic. There is and will be available in the United States through us to your retail location an adapter that will go on top of something somewhere. Actually, I don't have that product yet, so I'm not as familiar to be even to speak about it, but there is an adapter. The adapter will have a solenoid on it, and it would allow you to use a paintball or a refillable CO2 tank versus a disposable one. And we will have actually kits that include the adapter and those other pieces as well. So you'll be looking for those in your store. I really think, in my honest opinion, that this is a good way to get an introduction into CO2 if you're not familiar. We have the DIY method, as many of you may or may not have discovered, which we have a solution for that also, because we have an all-in-one kit that's just like the yeast solution. And one of these days I'm going to get around to doing a little video on that as well. But so it's great for beginners. I could definitely see aquascapers using this if they were going to an event and they were competing in the weekend contest, and maybe they wanted to make sure if it was something that they were already growing established plants in, to give it their best. This would be a perfect travel option for that. And it's definitely a good gateway into learning about CO2, how CO2 affects your plants and the benefits of it, and then getting you into a little bit of the pressurized so you're not scared. I was absolutely terrified. I was given a regulator and a tank, and I kind of just went through it on my own, and I conquered my fear. But for those that don't want to go that route, this is an alternative. And also I can see stores using something like this if they have a display tank set up, just to get that extra oomph for their plants while they're in the store. But anyway, I will upload this video, and there will be more coming over the next, I don't know, couple of weeks or something like that. I do still have the Scapers Flow canister filter. I'm going to do that on a separate video. I cheated on you guys. I'm sorry. I went ahead and went into the box and read the instructions on that so I can be familiar with it from the time that I open it and start the video. And then we also have the fertilizers that I'm going to do a separate video on those as well, so you guys know what we have to offer. And if you don't see these products in your stores, you can ask them if they are able to get them. If they are not sure, have them contact me, and I will definitely put them in the right place to getting the products in the stores. So you guys have a good day.